Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest.
Bring you guys next story up. So EssenceFest. EssenceFest was last weekend. EssenceFest usually falls on the 4th of July weekend, and because 4th of July was on Tuesday, they did it last weekend. I don't know how it's gonna fall next year, because next year is gonna be on a Wednesday, you know. So are they gonna have EssenceFest during the week? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. EssenceFest is a big festival where they usually have a lot of black entertainment, you know, a lot of podcasts, a lot of singers, rappers, performers. I mean, they have different platforms where people are talking about all kind of things that pertain to the black community. I mean, it can be hair, it can be business, it can be just all types of things. EssenceFest is your place, okay? And it usually caters to people around my age. I would say 30s. EssenceFest is I would really say 40s and up type of, celebration. And I know that EssenceFest is trying to gear their festival towards a younger audience, all right? And that was evident this year when they booked, because usually they'll book a large artist, but an artist that is from back in the day. Like they'll have Janet Jackson, they'll have Mary J. Blige, they'll have people like that. But they do want to have a younger audience that comes there. And they decided to put it on Hulu so that, we could all see it. That's another reason for more people to book to come next year, so they did it that way. India.Arie had a problem with the performances that Meg Thee Stallion and Janelle Monáe had, because India.Arie's feeling is that there is a time and a place for everything, and the fact that you've got people up here, the context is what she said. The context is questionable. You got an EssenceFest, which is a festival. Potentially there could be kids there. It can be, your old aunties and uncles. You got all these people there, and then you've got Janelle Monáe, for instance, showing her titty. Which we'll talk about in a second. But India.Arie's feeling was that there's a time and a place for everything. EssenceFest was not the time and the place for that. Essence Festival is supposed to be uplifting black women, and it's supposed to be a positive experience. I mean, that kind of stuff that they were doing could have been positive for somebody. Or India.Arie didn't feel like it was positive for the black community as a whole. And she said that she didn't have a problem with Janelle or Meg. She just didn't feel like what they were doing up on that stage was the place for it at the time. And India.Arie, she always gives her opinion. So, I mean, people are able to do that on social media. A lot of people didn't agree with her. So my feeling is I didn't have a problem with what Meg Thee Stallion did, because first of all, Meg Thee Stallion, if they book her, they already know what she's going to be doing. I mean, we already know what her music is. Yes, I know India.Arie had a problem with the little twerk off contest that they had, which was all in good fun. I don't think that it was anything, I don't think that it wasn't anything that people don't see already today. Like, if there were kids there and they saw that, I mean, you see that on social media, you see that on TV. I mean, some kids dance like that, So I didn't have a problem with really what Meg did. It's just, that's what the times are. At one point when my parents were younger, I'm sure that, Chuck Berry getting on the stage and doing rock and roll probably was too much for the people back then, Times change, people change, folks do things, it's just a natural progression. Things change, and everybody is not really comfortable with change all the time. Okay, so when things like that start happening, you kind of know that maybe you've aged out of that So maybe you've aged out of the festival, NeneDryBegging. Maybe you've aged out. You don't need to be watching this shit no more because it's about to do a left turn and you wasn't trying to go that way. That probably is what more India should just do, is just don't even look at it. My issue, and it wasn't even really an issue, it was just sort of confusion for me. Janelle Monáe and this whole new liberation and her whole new, you know, she's showing her body now. Like, I can get with it. Like, if you going through a new thing where you feeling yourself and you want to express yourself with your body and all that, I have no problem with that. I just didn't understand why we were showing titties while we were singing. Like, it just came out the blue. It had nothing to do with nothing. It just felt more like stunts and shows. It just felt like it was something to get the people upset or the people talking about, instead of it being really any expression of art. What you showing your titty for? Like, we just, you know, just pull it up while we sing it and then put it back in there. It's just like, girl, you couldn't have did one of these and just gave us something. Like, what was the purpose? What was the purpose of that? Okay? It looked stupid to me. So that made me feel like it was a stunt. Okay? It's one thing to see a bitch twerking. It's another one for somebody to just flap their titty out on you. Just willy-nilly, you know? And I think that Janelle wants to make that statement right now, whatever it is that she's going through. I mean, we've been used to Janelle Monáe being dressed in, I mean, totally suited, booted, boots, pants, blazer, turtleneck underneath it, hat on top. Like, we used to her being covered, and now this whole new, you know, she's celebrating her body and all. I mean, I can appreciate that. I just don't understand what was the purpose of the titty. And maybe y'all could, you know, I was like, so are you trying to get us to listen to your music now? And now that you done showed us your body, now y'all going to listen to her music? It's like, is that what you want us to do? Or what you want us to do with this titty situation? I just don't understand. But I mean, if that's what she want to do, fine. But I'm telling you, if you have aged out, there's certain things that you just can't do no more. Once you get too old for a certain thing, if you get past something and you just can't wrap your head around it, then now you have aged out and you just graciously let the younger people have it. That's where it is for me. Let the younger people do that. And there were other people that had sexually suggestive content. You know, people are saying Jill Scott also had some shit to say. And you know, Jill Scott, if you've seen Jill Scott live, you know, she can be very sexual in her thing. I think it's just more the fact that it was EssenceFest instead of it being a Jill Scott a concert, or instead of it being a Meg Thee Stallion concert. It's like you've got all of these people that are coming together, and it can be kids, it can be old people, it could be pastors and they first ladies, it could be all of these people up in there, and then you got all this shit going on. I was like, well, at least they had, you know, Pound Town up in there. Pound Town, just let Pound Town. My coochie pink, my booty hole brown. I swear I wish my mom was still alive. Oh, she would get a good laugh off of that one. Child, that damn BET, when that girl was performing next to Bobby, you guys know who I'm talking about from BET, the gospel guy, child. He was so appalled. He was like, Pound Town, just left the Pound Town. Pound Town, just left Pound Town. Child, please. Anyway, yeah, maybe it's just time for India to just not deal with the EssenceFest. Okay. Y'all let me know what you think, though. Did you guys have a problem with Meg, what she did? I guess she probably had a problem with Meg's performance altogether, too. But like I said, they booked Meg. You already know what Meg's stage consists of, what she's going to be doing. So that's what they wanted. They wanted that kind of stuff there. That's what they got. You know, if you don't like it, turn Hulu off. Okay, or leave the concert. I mean, they said that a lot of people left, both on Meg's and Janelle's performances. So, but y'all tell me if you agreed with NeneDryBegging or not.
Nobody giving interviews. I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing.
All right, you guys. Next story up. So apparently somebody is riding the white horse at the White House. yes, that's right, you guys. Cocaine was found in the West Wing. All right. Now, when you first hear that, you think West Wing, like at the office? Well, no, it wasn't found in the office. It wasn't found in the president's chambers at all. It actually was found in an area where people, when they are visiting the White House, there are lockers apparently that you can put your stuff in because they don't want you to, I think you can't take your phone in and things like that. So you can lock your things away. And they said that it was in that area that they found this cocaine. Of course, with all the talk about Joe Biden's son, President Biden's son, being a drug addict, of course, folks are trying to say that he left his, Hunter left his cocaine in the White House. That cocaine could be anybody's. I mean, it could be Hunter's, but it could be anybody's. I have a feeling that it was probably just somebody that was visiting the White House and they little stash dropped. Okay. I was just like, why is everything such a big story these days? Like, did they even have to report that? Okay, it was cocaine, get rid of the cocaine and all that, but now it's like they gotta go through the cameras and they need to see who brought this cocaine into the White House. They say that security is vetting everybody and investigating everybody and trying to see what's what. And I mean, I'm just like, in the guise of them always trying to be transparent, I feel like they tell us too much now, because we can't, unless it said whose fucking cocaine it was and whose big story is this. It could be anybody's. I mean, it's hundreds of people that go through the White House, I'm sure. So whatever. But yeah, they said that Hunter left his shit up there. And then somebody else found it. Child. Y'all think that Hunter was up there sniffing in the White House? Y'all quit blaming that boy and his drug problems on that.
And you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know improve, but you ain't even flexing.
Alright, you guys, next story up, Nene. We need to have a serious discussion about Nene. Because Nene continues to get on Quinta Brunson's internet and troll her fans by saying things along the lines of, I would go back to Real Housewives of Atlanta because, and then insert reason. She's been doing it a lot lately, and I'm just sort of like, Nene, please stop doing this. First of all, Bravo has made it abundantly clear that they was like, hell, fuck nah, bitch, you will never come back here. I mean, who in their right mind would say that they would come back to a job that you not only quit, but then went on to sue them and say that they were racist? Why would you even want to go back to that? And why would said job that was accused of that had to defend themselves and say that they weren't that way, why would they, in their right minds, hire you back? You're a liability at this point, and I'm sure Nene knows that. But I think Nene likes to get the chatter going because she likes to rile up her fans so that they can say things like, oh, because apparently Nene was out in Beverly Hills and the Paps caught up with her and asked her, if she's been supportive to Kim since she's going through a divorce. And she said she did send her a message. She hadn't really talked to her. But, when she was going through some things, Kim has been there. So she tries to be there for Kim as well. And then she said, and y'all saw Kim, they saying that the child got a $2,500 bill at Target that's not being paid. So Target summons her, they suing for their money. I was like, ooh, times is hard, child. Times is hard. $2,500 Target credit card can't get paid. It's terrible. But anyway, so then they asked her, would she go back to Real Housewives? And she was like, you need to check the ratings. All right. And then she went on to say that she would go back because it's what the fans want. And so she says those things so that people can continue to say how fucking bad the ratings are. The ratings can be as bad as they want to be. The show still come on every week and y'all still watch every week. Okay. I still got people that's saying that they ain't watching and they still watching. Okay. And they mention how bad the ratings are. The ratings have been bad for many years and the show continues to come back. even if NeNe and Portia came back, I don't know if it would be that big of a return where it would turn around, because a lot of people have just stopped watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know? And so I don't know if they could turn that around, but we won't ever really know with NeNe, because Bravo is not going to bring NeNe back. Now, Portia will probably come back. I can see Kim maybe. I can see a lot of them coming back, but I don't think NeNe and I don't think Phaedra. I just can't see them coming back to that show. Okay, I don't see NeNe coming to nothing on Bravo. Phaedra's Married to Medicine now, so she already got her a new gig. But I think NeNe is doing more of this because I think that the well is running dry. I think that NeNe is, you know, I'm not trying to count her pockets or anything like that, but what is NeNe doing for income? I'm sure she had a savings, and you know, she may have had life insurance, maybe a policy from Greg, you know, that helped. But NeNe doesn't really have any income coming. You know, when you start blowing off and spending your savings, at some point you just be like, damn, I'm gonna have to do something, because you're not trying to spend all your savings. That's why it's called savings. You're trying to save it, you know, and that's supposed to be for a rainy day. Well, I guess for NeNe it's raining like a motherfucker, right? Because like, what is she doing? We've had plenty of shows that they promised that NeNe was gonna be on, that they were developing for her, that hasn't come to fruition. She let go of her stores. You know, remember she had her clothing store. She let those go. She let her lounge go. She's not on any show. She's not on TV. What is NeNe doing? What is NeNe doing? Okay. And while she might have some things in place to bring in her income, bring in some income, like she needs a big ticket item that's going to move her income the way that she wants her to. It needs to be a big check, like a reality show, like a Real Housewives, you know? And it's just nothing. So she does that. Somebody called it dry begging. She does that because I guess she feels like maybe the fans will pressure Bravo, but they're not pressuring Bravo. Bravo ain't going to do it. I think she does it so that people can say, oh yeah, the show is no good without NeNe. But the show might have just run its course, period. Whether or not NeNe was on the show, you know. She's burned so many bridges that I think that now it's probably really hard for her to secure some income, which is really unfortunate, because NeNe is funny as hell. She's quick-witted. She is talented. She can actually act. She knows how to give good TV. She can, you know, she has the comebacks. I mean, just everything. NeNe did create Real Housewives of Atlanta. And so, you know, I mean, she did put that show on the map. She was an OG, all of that. We'll give her that. But I don't know. I feel like that lawsuit with Bravo really did. I think it made a lot of, not just Bravo, but a lot of other networks just decide that they don't want to work with her. So, because it's been some years and we still ain't seen NeNe on nothing other than she was on College Hill or whatever, Celebrity Edition. But would she have ever done that when she was like big time Real Housewives of Atlanta, New Normal, Glee, Dancing with the Stars, Celebrity Apprentice? Like when she was in that, would she have gone on College Hill? No, not at all. BET? What? You know? So, but I wish that she would stop that taunting, well, it's not even taunting. It's just her giving false hope to her fans. Because Bravo is not going to bring her back. I would love to see NeNe in her own reality show. Just her. She could carry a show on her own. She really could. But I feel like she burned that bridge. Like, I don't think that people want to work with her anymore. Not in that capacity. What do you guys think? Do you think that Bravo will ever decide to bring NeNe back? I mean, we'll never say never. But when the law gets involved and when you start talking about lawsuits and stuff, I would be a fool to hire you again. Okay, for you to burn me again. So I don't see it happening. Do y'all?
And you ain't gotta try too hard. #1 fan, yes, I applaud.
Next story up, you guys. Faith Evans and Stevie J. Mama named him Stephen Jordan. You guys, I'm going to tell you, this is one of them stories where we tried to warn Faith back in the day, back in 2017, 18-ish, when we saw them and they looked like they was living their best life, and she would go on this reality show and she would just giggle because he was so silly, and, you know, they would just have fun together and all of this, and, you know, that was all fine and good and cute for the show and all, but then when they started really talking seriously about getting married, we was like, wait, what? And then they turned around and got married, and we was like, y'all was serious? Like, who tries to be in a relationship with Stevie J other than Jocelyn? I mean, even Jocelyn came to her senses, right? But then we were just like, okay, maybe Faith Evans, maybe she might be a good addition for Stevie J. Maybe she will be the one to put him on the straight and narrow. I mean, she is a legitimate, talented, certified, bona fide singer, artist. We love Faith. Okay. Maybe she is just what he needs to keep him on the straight and narrow. But then we forgot that Faith has struggled with her own addiction problems. And, you know, Faith has tied herself up to maybe a man or two that she wouldn't have done if she would have had hindsight, you know. But we was just sort of like, maybe this will turn out okay. And at first it looked like it was okay. They did an album together. You know, Stevie J, you guys don't realize how much of a legend Stevie J is. I mean, I'ma just, let me see if I can pull up his Wikipedia so I can just tell you guys all of his music. Because I don't think a lot of people realize just how talented, and I mean, Stevie J should be so much better, well off, both in a place in his life and in his finances. He should be so much better, because when I tell you Stevie J had his hand in almost every fucking hit back in the day, every hit. Now I know you guys are gonna be like, well, that's because he was with Puffy, and you know, Puffy was taking the people money, and that could be true, but I also believe that he probably fucked off a lot of his money. But let me just tell you what he's done as far as his catalog is. Hold on.
Got me think about inside the walls. Words cut deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper.
Oh my God, the list goes on and on. When I tell you, it is so many fucking songs that this man, I mean, he should be so paid. Again, maybe because Puffy wasn't paying his people like he was supposed to, but can't nobody tell me that Stevie J should be in the position where he is today, where he ain't really got no money and he got to be asking Faith Evans for spousal support. But that's where we are today, because he has asked for spousal support. They didn't have a prenup when they got married, which we were just sort of like, Faith girl, I hope you know what you're doing. This is not a good idea. Stevie J doesn't have the best track record. Why don't you guys have something in place? But see, they got married so quickly, they ain't had time to go to no lawyers and stuff. I feel like they just one day woke up and been like, let's get married today, you know? And so now, fast forward, they were only married for 3 years. So 2018 to 2021, they were married. Stevie J filed for divorce in November, I think, of 2021. And now it's all said and done, and Faith Evans has been ordered to pay him close to $1 million in spousal support. Now, that hasn't been confirmed from either parties. This story is coming from Media Takeout, so I'm gonna let you take this with a grain of salt. Media Takeout does do better with their stories, but there still be some stories that just be all out, just be crazy and just be completely wrong. But this story, because there was a divorce that was going through, you know, is most likely pretty accurate. It might just be the amount might be off, but yeah, we knew that she was gonna have to end up paying them because Stevie J doesn't have any money anymore. After all of that shit I just read, and I ain't even read, that was only 2 years. That was only 2 years of stuff that he's done. It's still way more stuff. Go on Wikipedia and go look at it. Go look at his discography. It's amazing. And it's a sad shame that he is where he is today with all that he's done. But, you know, like I said, we know a lot of Puffy's artists, his production team, all of them. A lot of them didn't get, you know, are not in the place in their lives that you would think that they would be with all of those successes. But yeah, I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse. $1 million is not a whole lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money. I would love to get $1 million right now. But like $1 million doesn't go far in California. The houses are more than $1 million, you know? So it's just like, it ain't really enough to really quit your job and still and have a lifestyle, you know, outside. It's because once you go through that $1 million and that's it. But yeah, we tried to let Faith know, but I guess it like I said, it could have been worse. So good thing y'all got divorced before you was together even any longer. Okay, fucked around and got pregnant or some shit. So but yeah, that's that. $1 million, as some would say, Stevie J came up. Wasn't so bad for 3 years of work, huh? $1 million, yeah, I'll take it.
You with a big stepper who chasing a cheddar. All of these women, they not on your level.
All right, you guys, this next story is weird. It don't make sense to me, but maybe you guys can help me out. So Rudy Farias was reported missing 8 years ago by his mother back in 2015. He left the house with 2 of their dogs. He was only 17 years old at the time, and he was supposed to be taking them for a walk. He never made it back home. The dogs, they did find the dogs. They never found the boy, and the mother reported him missing. This is 2015. Fast forward to 2023. There is a young man that is asleep outside of a church, and somebody called the police. The police came and found some identifying paperwork on him that said what his name was, and so they contacted his mother. Okay, and the mom was relieved. Oh my God, my son has been missing for 8 years. You guys have just found him? Yep, they just found him. They took him to the hospital, and they said that he was non-responsive, that anytime they would try to talk to him or ask him questions, that he would just ball up like in the fetal position, and he wouldn't answer. I mean, it's clear. I think she said at the time that back in 2015 that he was going through like a depression, or you know, there were some mental health issues that were apparent then. So we don't know where he's been missing for 8 years. You know, I guess maybe they thought he could have been homeless because he was unkept and everything. But they didn't really know. They didn't have a story to tell us about where he's been or anything. Well, the crazy thing about that is the people in the neighborhood was just like, Rudy? You talking about Rudy from up the street? Yeah, they've been seeing Rudy all the time. You know, the people in the neighborhood was like, Rudy been up here. He hang out with the family. He come to the cookouts. He do all of this. Unbeknownst to his mama. Now, apparently the mama let her tell it. She ain't seen her son in 8 years, but everybody else in the damn neighborhood knew who he was and said that he had. Now, they said that he had been missing maybe the last couple of weeks or whatever, but for all of them 8 years, they've been knowing who he is, and he been in the neighborhood like normal. So now the whole story is just weird, because it was just sort of like, you reported him missing. Did she not know that her son was just next door for 8 years? Crazy. So now I think we're going to have to kind of wait and see if more comes out of that story. Because, I mean, unless the mom was bedridden and couldn't get out the house and don't know what's going on in her own neighborhood, I mean, you mean to tell me nobody was just like, Miss Tanisha. That ain't her name. I'm just saying, Miss Tanisha, we just saw Rudy down the street. Like, nobody said that to the lady? No? Strange. Very strange. But, so what I need you guys to let me know is there more on that story? Like, do you guys know what they've been saying other than the fact that this boy ain't really been missing for 8 years? Where he been all this time? Did the mama not see him? Is the mama trying to get some money? Is the mama trying to get something out of this? Like, what is... I need more on the story. I need more on the story. I kept on reading and looking it up and everything, and nobody really knows. There hasn't been any updates to that story to let us know, like, exactly why this mama ain't knew that the boy was just right down the street all this time. So, if y'all got more on the story, y'all, you know, feel free to share.
You like a mix of business and pleasure. You a move body.
And then lastly, you guys, well, this is a two-part lastly. Congratulations are in order to Jay-Z's mother, Gloria. Gloria Carter. She married the love of her life, longtime girlfriend, RoxanneMarkham, last Sunday. You guys know that even though we knew that Jay-Z's, I think that most of us kind of had an idea that his mom might have been gay. Not a long time before she finally officially came out. I think she officially came out in 2017. She had that song with Jay-Z, Smile. And remember, they were talking about how she's always had to act like she wasn't gay, but she had to come out to him and how emotional it was and all of that. You guys remember that song. But I think that the more that we started to see her, even before that, we kind of had an idea that maybe she was, and you know, it don't really matter. we don't really care. But you know, I think that most of us knew that she was gay. But then when she finally officially came out, I guess she now feels like she can live her life out loud the way that she wants to. So she did marry her longtime girlfriend, like I said, RoxanneMarkham. And you know, I already like her because we got the same name and we spell it the same. Ain't too many Roxannes. I said, she must be around my age. I didn't check to see, but so congratulations to them, the happy couple. All of the who's, they was all at the wedding. I mean, we saw the people going and all of that. So congratulations to them. What's not such a happy story to give to you guys to report today is that Beyonce, now that her European leg of her tour is about to come to an end, you guys know she'll be in the States very soon. And it looks like there's some changes to the schedule. So apparently she's canceled some dates. I know that she's canceled in Pittsburgh. There hasn't been a reschedule, so they just basically told everybody, you're gonna get your money back and we ain't coming to Pittsburgh. It's not funny because I know, I mean, the way people was so, you know, just crazy trying to get them tickets. I know it is a lot of the Beehive that is probably very, very upset that they're not going to be able to see their girl, you know, in Pittsburgh. People that bought their tickets and all of that. They said that it was because of logistic problems, like, you know, scheduling errors and logistical problems, that was the reason why they canceled. They canceled somewhere else too. Was it Ohio, Toledo? Child, I can't remember the other place, but they canceled in a couple of places. And yeah, the stands are not really happy about it. But you know, she still has tickets available in other places. I mean, you can make a trip out of it and maybe go somewhere else and go watch the concert there. But, you know, that's not convenient for everybody. I realize that. But, yeah, she's done some canceling. And I don't know if that's just beginning of there might be more dates that are canceled or what. I know that she has 3 here in Atlanta. And, you know, Jada and I are supposed to be going to this concert. So, boy, I would be so upset. Pittsburgh is a pretty big city. I was like, damn, they had to cancel a big city like that. You know, the other city, I kind of feel like it was smaller. It wasn't Toledo. I'm getting it mixed up. I can't remember what the other city was, but it seemed like it was smaller. When they cancel smaller cities, you kind of understand a little bit more. I mean, but then big cities like Pittsburgh, that's worrisome. It's like, now that means that she can kind of stop it at any of these other big cities, you know, Atlanta, LA, Chicago, Miami. Like, these are big cities that I hope that she gonna make it to. New York, you know, like, I hope she don't cancel anything else, but we'll see. But like I said, y'all go on and get you some tickets for somewhere else. I'm not laughing, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. But we gonna tell you exactly how the concert went when we go.
Haven't seen the views, I'm just saying I'm amused. But you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warm, different vibe.
Alright, you guys, I feel like I babbled so much in this video. I hate when my thoughts don't come the way that I want to, but hopefully y'all know me. Y'all kind of know what I'm trying to say. So we do this every single week, so make sure that you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come
Even flexing, but you ain't even flexing. But you ain't even flexing. But you ain't even flexing.
Till next time,
But you
Roxstars.
ain't even flexing.